We are going to look at capital budgeting. And capital budgeting is a process by which a business is able to evaluate and select long-term investments. These investments should be consistent with the goals of the shareholder, which is maximization of wealth. And so capital budgeting involves decisions on acquiring assets like new machinery, like buildings, like projects, and expansion projects. So the importance of capital budgeting basically is to make decisions that have long-term implications. So the objectives of capital budgeting are: number one, to identify the profitable investment opportunities; number two, to ensure that there's optimal allocation of scarce resources; number three, to ensure that you assess what risks are there and what trade-offs are there. And also, capital budgeting is there to ensure that shareholders' value is attained through efficient investments. And capital budgeting is very important to ensure that you avoid overinvestment or underinvestment. So capital budgeting basically looks at both the long-term nature and high-value investments. So there are different types of capital budgeting decisions that are involved. So the decisions that are there mainly to expand, decisions that are there to replace, decisions that are there to diversify, decisions that are there to come up with a new and independent projects. So all these fall under the process of capital budgeting, which is firstly you identify what opportunities are there. Then you screen to check whether they align with your objectives. And you evaluate these proposals by applying the techniques that we're going to look at: the NPV, the IRR, the AAR, the profitability index, all these decisions. Then you also look at implementation, how you're going to acquire assets, how to start the projects. Then monitoring and review, you're going to look at the post-audit and compare the actual and expected. So these are the processes that are involved in capital budgeting. Now, the methods that we're going to look at are basically traditional methods in appraising these. So the easiest we're going to look at is payback period, um, accounting rate of return. So when dealing with payback period, we're looking at the time it will take us to recover our initial investment from the cash flows. So here the rule is that the shorter the payback period, the better the project. So if you're comparing two projects, one is taking 2 years, the other one is taking 1 year. You'd rather take a project that will take 1 year to recover its investment. Okay. Then we going to look at AAR, which is the accounting rate of return. It's based on the average annual profits over the initial investment. So the rule is that if you have a high IRR based compared to our required rate of return that will be given, and just know that the project is worth it. So I'll explain all these as we look at an example. Then the conventional methods or the discounted cash flow methods that we're going to look at, the NPV. NPV NPV basically is used to calculate the present value of the cash flows minus the initial investment. So the rule is that if your NPV is positive, you accept the project. If the NPV is negative, you reject the project. This is very important because it considers time value of money. Then we have IRR, which is simply a point at which your NPV is zero. So here the rule is that you accept the project if IRR is greater than the cost of capital. So the limitation is that you need to use a number of rates. Okay, we use interpolation to see which rate is conventional. Then we also have profitability index, which is simply the present values uh, divided by the initial investment. So you accept it if it's more than one. So with this being said, I need you to enjoy um, calculation of these appraisal methods. So a given years, Whenever you're given year 0, just know that that is the initial year initial investment was done. So we're going to look at two projects. These projects are running for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So these investments, we have project A and project B. In project A, we initially invested what? 1,000 kwacha. So, and also project B, it has the same amount. So I want to compare which project was doing fine. In first year for project A, we had received a 200, we had received a 400, we had received a 700, received a 300, and received 100. For project B, in year 1, we had received a 100, we had received a 700, we had received another 100, we had received 600. Okay. And here in year 5, maybe we had received a 50 kwacha. So now we want to compute and compare these two projects using the appraisal methods that we have been given. So I'm going to do project A and you do project B for all the 5, in fact 6, and you're given your discount rate as 10%. So how many appraisal methods have we talked about that are used? To start with, how many have we talked about?
Payback period,
Yes, payback period,
AAR,
AAR,
accounting rate of return.
accounting rate of return.
Yes. And the conversion, we talked about NPV and IRR and PI.
Okay. So what did we say about the payback period? What does the payback period look at? The time it takes to
If
recover the investment, all right?
time, okay.
So let's look at project A in terms of payback period. So we are talking about here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we have the cash flow for A. So we started with what? 1,000.
1,000.
Then we have 200. We have what? 400.
400.
We have what? 700.
700.
We have what? 300.
300. 300.
And we have
And
what?
100.
100.
100.
Then we do the cumulative values here. All right. So we'll start with the 200. This is the initial amount. So just put it up. The 200, when you add to the 400, what we get?
600.
600. Then you add to the 700, what we get?
13.
13. You add to the 300, what we get?
16.
16.
And
You add the 100, what we get?
17.
17.
17. Yes.
So the easiest formula we're going to use for payback period is simply a triangle, a diamond. So it's simply A plus B minus C over D. So you first identify where this 1,000 be repaid using the cumulative values.
Okay.
So the 1,000 will be where? In this segment between 600 and
13.
13. So just go to the 600, you go across, that is going to equal your A. Your B is the amount you're repaying, recovering. Your C is the actual 600, and your D is the number and the cumulative in the actual cash flow below the 600. So you're making something like a diamond, like this. All right, I repeat, the 1,000 will be captured between 600 and 13. So in the same line for 600, that is your A.
Yes.
Your B is a 1000. Your C is a 600. And your D is actually 700. So what is our A?
All right. A is
2.
400. Oh, 2. That's it.
And
2.
our B?
That B, we have
1000.
the 1000.
And our C?
Our C is 600.
And our D?
Our D is 700.
Good. So what are we going to have? 2
100
plus what?
plus 400 over
400
700.
over 700. So what is 400 over 700?
400 plus 0.5714.
So 2.57 years. That is how long it will take to recover our money. Okay. Anyone behind? Is it clear?
It is clear.
It's clear, right? So you do that for investment B, right? You remember to do that, isn't it?
Okay,
All right.
sure.
So we go to um, another appraisal method that we talked about, which was what? NPV. All right. What did we say about
NPV,
NPV?
looks at the the value of the future cash flows.
The value of the future cash flows, right? So
Yeah.
NPV looks at the value of the future cash flows. So the rule is that you pick the cash flow that is positive above what? Above 0 if it's a positive. So what's the formula for NPV? So NPV is simply the summation of the future cash flows minus the initial investment. Okay? NPV is simply what? Summation of the cash flows over 1 plus R to the power n minus what? The initial cost.
Initial cost.
So for year one, what was our initial cost?
1,000.
1000 is the initial cost. So year one, we had what? 200.
200, yes.
And the discount rate was 10%. So 1.1 to the power what? 1. If it was 8%, it would have been 1.08. The next amount was 400.
400.
400 will be over 1.1 to the power what? 1.10 to the power what?
Oh, or 2.
Power 2. The next figure was what? 700.
700.
700 over 1.10 to the power what? 3.
3.
The next one was what? 300.
300
300 over
over
1.10
1.1 to the power
power
4.
4.
4.
In the last year, year 5,
600
100.
is 100.
So
Well,
100
yes.
over 1.1
1 to the
to the
power
power what?
5.
5. 10 to the power 5. Then minus the initial cost, which was what? 1000. So what is this 200 when we discount it? So 200 divided by 1.1, we get what? 1818,
Wow.
181.882. The next one is what? 400
Over
divided by 1.1 squared. What do we get? 330. Point what?
330.58.
58. Then the next one, 700 divided by
700
1.10 to the power what? 3
to the power 3.
is what? 5 what?
525.92.
92. Then the next one is what?
100
Divided by
divided by 1 point power 4. That's 204.90.
power 4, which is what? 20.
4.90.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, 100 divided by 1.1 power 5. 62.09.
09. Then subtract 1000. So what is the total of the side here?
8.58 plus 5 2 plus 204 plus 62 point. This side is 1305.28.
28 minus 1000. So what is our NPV?
305.28.
Is it a positive? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if it was only project, you say it's viable. If you're comparing this one and your B was 400, you pick a higher NPV, all right?
Higher one.
So the rule is that it should be positive. Then profitability index. What is profitability index? Profitability index is given by the summation of the cash flows over the initial cost. So what was the summation of the cash flows? 1,300
305.28.
and 28 divided by 1,000. So the rule here is you only accept the project if the answer is above 1. So here what we get 1.305. So what's a rule we accept because the profitability index we're getting here is
More
the
than
answer is
one.
what? More than
1.
more than 1. Then the average AAR is simply the average profits over the initial cost. Average what? Profit over cost. So here, if the rate is more than the cost, then you accept it. So average here is what? 200 plus 400 plus 700 plus 300 plus 100 divided by 5, because that's average, and over everything over 1,000. So average profit, so here 200 plus 400 plus 700 plus 300 plus 100. Was that 18? What are we getting?
600. 18. Should be 19. Let me see. 200 plus 400 plus 700 plus 300 plus.
This is what?
Should be one. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake on my calculator.
200
plus 400 plus 700 plus just so plus 400. One
17
seven.
divided by 5, 340. So 340 over 1000 times 100. What do we get? 34%. So you compare this to the cost of capital of 10%. So if ARR is more than the market rate of 10%, we accept. So this we've calculated is more than what? The 10%. So we say it is a good investment. Are you together?
Yes, yes.
So the last one, appraisal, is IRR. So suppose here our rate was 10%, right?
Yes.
And what was our NPV? We calculated as what?
Was 305.28.
305. Okay. Now suppose we interpolate, we can just guess another interest rate, a high interest rate, maybe 20%. Suppose, right? And it will give us
Okay.
an NPV, which is negative. In most cases, it must be negative. It will give us maybe negative 100. So this one we have, this one we guessed. Okay?
Okay.
So you use the formula for IRR. IRR is simply given by R1 plus NPV 1 over NPV 1 minus NPV 2. And here we have R1 minus R2, or R2 minus R1. Okay, so we substitute. Okay, so what do we put in here?
See,
What was our R1?
around 10%.
10%. So
So we
R1 is
write it in
10%.
this. Yes.
So put 10% here. Then NPV1,
PV1 305.28
205
point two
over
eight
28 over 205.28 minus what? Minus negative
minus
100.
100.
So to add here, the negative and negative. Then here, the rate one was what? 10%. 20% was a rate two. 20% minus what?
Minus 10%.
10%, correct. So if we calculate our IRR here, it's giving us 18.22%. So we compare it with the cost of capital of 10%. If IRR is more than the cost of capital 10%, you accept the investment. You say it is good. So these are the
Oh,
appraisal methods that you need to know. As simple as that. All
sure.
right. So
Okay.
just based on what I've taught you, I'll give you homework, which I'll require by tomorrow. So we end here.